Welcome back to episode 4, our final episode of Dabbler in a Box Season 2. On today's episode, we're going to feature 2 beers from long-running, established Minnesota breweries with strong, well-built reputations, and 1 young, hungry brewery that's trying to make a name for itself on the scene. Plus, we'll have trivia from Trivia Mafia to test your brew IQ. First things first, we're headed to scenic Stillwater to learn about Liftbridge Brewing Company's Mango Blonde.
Welcome to Liftbridge Brewery. I'm Brad Glynn, one of the owners here. Liftbridge is located in Stillwater, Minnesota, and we have been around since September of 2008. I grew up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where pretty much everyone knows someone that works in the brewing industry. So my father actually worked for Schlitz Brewery since the 60s, which was at the time one of the largest breweries in the country. Time evolved there. He started working for Stroh's and some other breweries, so I really grew up in the brewing business. And we always had all new beers and crazy new stuff, but also all the traditional Milwaukee Pilsners right in the fridge at all times. So growing up with those in the fridge and always using beer to celebrate something or to mourn something together or to just make everyday life taste a little bit better, that's what beer was for. Coming here to Stillwater, a few of us decided, hey, it would be really sweet to start a brewery here. Super historic town right on the St. Croix River. It had 3 breweries before Prohibition. Why couldn't we be the one to open after Prohibition? We were able to do that in 2008 and started releasing beers. The first one was Farm Girl, Belgian-style Saison. And at the time, in 2008, not a lot of breweries were doing Saison, so we had a little bit of pushback from some retailers and thinking that the public isn't going to know what a Saison is, which actually turned out to be fine because it's just a great, refreshing Belgian beer. So for Dabbler in a Box, you're going to find our Mango Blonde. We've been making Mango Blonde for the last 6 years, and it's been a hit every single year, and every single year we keep brewing more and more. Like most of our beers, we want it really balanced. So we start with a great blonde ale that's just a little over 4.5% alcohol. We do ferment with a little bit of pure mango puree. The great thing about that is it ferments out a little bit. It's not overly sweet, but you get a great mango aroma, tropical back note, and it's just super refreshing. Makes you want to have that second drink every time. So right now is a great time here at Liftbridge Brewery. Normally we'd all be celebrating together at the Great Minnesota Get Together, the State Fair. Instead of that, we're going to have some of our State Fair exclusive beers right here at the brewery. So our mini donut beer and our key lime beer will be right here for sale. The mini donut beer we've been doing with Ballpark Cafe at the State Fair for about 7 years now. Normally we serve it with a cinnamon sugar on the rim, and that's really kind of the quintessential taste of that mini donut. Thanks for joining us here at Liftbridge Brewery for Dabbler in a Box Season 2. Enjoy your Mango Blonde. Drink well, drink local.
It's been a favorite of theirs for years, and it's not hard to see why. Liftbridge Mango Blonde, available wherever fine beers are sold. Now, I hope you were paying attention, class, because it's about time for a quiz, courtesy of sisters Tracy and Lindsay Kimball from Trivia Mafia, who are kicking things off at our second brewery featured in this episode, Forgotten Star.
Hey Dabblers, I'm Lindsay.
I'm Tracy.
And we are the Kimball sisters, and we're here with Trivia Mafia at Forgotten Star Brewing in friendly Fridley.
We're here to get you some trivia tonight. We're with Trivia Mafia. You may have heard of us. And we got 3 rounds of trivia for you and are excited to ask those questions all related to Minnesota breweries tonight. Want to give you a little bit of background on Trivia Mafia if you haven't heard of us. We have trivia events all over the metro and across the Midwest, actually. But because of COVID, we're on a bit of a hiatus, so you can check out virtual trivia online at triviamafia.com if you want to continue on with trivia after you're done with your beer trivia tonight. We're going to start off our trivia with a little bit of how the breweries got their name. So our first round is how they chose their name, since obviously Forgotten Star has a great name or story to their name as well.
Before we dig in though, one important rule.
Oh yeah.
Use your noodle, not your Google. No Googling. If you want to win, you want to win fair. And you know the winner gets a huge prize. A whole lot of pride today. Right.
Or crack open another beer too and enjoy that Dabbler box as well. Yeah, cheers for sure. Question number 1 for our trivia. So again, this one is all about how they got their names to start off with. What St. Paul brewery named itself after a historic street that features one of the longest stretches of Victorian-style homes in the country?
What St. Paul brewery was founded by electrical engineers, which explains why they named their brewery after a thin, hair-like threads that form when soldering a circuit board?
What Northeast Minneapolis brewery gets its name from a popular saying that chefs remember in order to save them from cutting their hands?
What northern Minnesota brewery took its name from a tree that is known to flourish after a forest fire?
You should think about it. Take a second.
While our next brewery is less than a year old, the building that houses Forgotten Star is steeped in history. Their home base was once a munitions plant that proved its quality during World War II, a tradition of excellence that its founders intend to showcase in every single beer that they produce.
Hello, my name is Matt Asay. I'm the brewer and co-owner here at Forgotten Star Brewing, and welcome to Season 2 of the Dabbler in a Box.
Forgotten Star is located in Fridley, Minnesota, but we're actually just about 8 to 10 minutes from downtown Minneapolis. We have a gorgeous view of downtown from our giant patio, so it's really not far out of the way. So the tap room at Forgotten Star, it's such a spacious, open, beautiful space. People come in and they're always amazed. They look around, they'll walk around for 10 minutes just checking it out. There's just so much character to it. We have a huge indoor space, a large grassy area with picnic tables and shade. And then in addition to that, connected to our tap room is an event space, which can host weddings and rehearsal dinners and business meetings.
Here at Forgotten Star, we occupy the boiler room of the Northern Pump Companies. In World War II, they switched from making pumps for the fire department to making artillery for the Navy. And because they were so excellent and efficient at that production process, they were awarded Navy Battle E Awards. Look on our stacks, you'll see an E with 6 stars. Each one of those stars is from them maintaining that excellence and efficiency for 6 months. Everything we try to do in the brewing process is to be as efficient and as excellent as possible, whether that means being very clean, being very consistent, using high quality ingredients, and overall just making beer with purpose. My brewing philosophy here at Forgotten Star is being pretty true to style. I really think there's a lot of beer styles out there that are underappreciated. I like to just be as straight-laced as possible. It's not to say we won't do any crazy stuff. Like I do kettle sours. We have a chocolate milk stout on nitro. We're gonna have a barrel aging program going here soon. But yeah, for the most part, we like to have just easy drinking, sessionable beer styles that people can enjoy for at least 2 to 3 pints. In Dabbler in a Box Season 2, we're going to be featuring Forgotten Star North Star Cream Ale, which is our light option. Cream Ale is basically an American light lager that's fermented like an ale, so it'll feature a little bit more estery characteristics than a lager would.
When you have somebody come in and they ask, what's your lightest option? What's your easiest beer to drink? This is obviously the one we recommend, and they always love it. It pairs great with food, and you just don't have to think too much about it. It's easy to drink.
It features 2-row barley, flaked corn, and brewer's sugar, which basically increases the attenuation. What that means is that it's going to be much more dry. That, and coupled with high carbonation, will really have a palate scrubbing bite to it with every sip. Our new seasonal beers are coming out shortly. The next featured beer is going to be Orange Blossom Corn Lager, and then we're going to have a Blueberry Kettle Sour. Our Oktoberfest will be released in the coming weeks at the end of September, and I also will have a Rye Pale Ale. And then by then, hopefully, we'll have some bourbon barrels full of some good stuff for our anniversary party.
Thanks for joining us at Forgotten Star Brewery. Make sure to bring your BOGO pint card to enjoy a North Star Cream Ale. Now I'm turning it over to Trivia Mafia.
In 2012, the blue ribbon for Best Cider at the Minnesota State Fair went to a pair of childhood friends who had been experimenting with brewing in their basement cider laboratory. Which numbered batch did they submit to the fair for judging?
What St. Paul brewery told its initial investors that their goal was to shift the craft beer industry into the next gear?
It's a lofty goal.
That's a lofty goal and a great clue.
What St. Paul brewery was founded, according to its website, in 2013 on a, quote, hot and stormy night?
What Minnesota brewery was named after something that was built in 1931 and added to the U.S. National Register of Historic Places in 1989?
You should think about it. Take a second.
Our final brewery for Dabbler in a Box Season 2 was Northeast Minneapolis' first tap room. Indeed Brewing Company's mix of approachable styles and adventurous seasonals has won them fans all over the Midwest, including Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where they just opened a brand new brewery. Let's see what they've been up to.
Hey Dabblers, welcome to Indeed Brewing Company and our headquarters and primary brewery here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I'm Tom Wisnand, co-founder and CEO of Indeed Brewing Company. I've been running this brewery for over 8 years now. Kind of got into beer in 2008 when I got laid off from a job here at a local newspaper and found myself sort of waiting tables at Town Hall Brewery in Seven Corners in Minneapolis, and just got hooked on not only craft beer but also the beer industry. Eventually came around with my business partner Nate and formed a business plan for Indeed, which was always just based on making really great quality beer, of always pursuing what's good, both in being very kind of community involved as a brewery, which we're well known for our giving in the communities that we operate in, both in the Twin Cities and Milwaukee and the states that both those cities reside in. We produce a wide range of beers, including Flavor Wave, which I think you might be drinking right now. Flavor Wave is our first ever year-round IPA, and we've only been doing it for about 2 years. That's kind of an interesting thing about our brewery. As far as IPAs go that are in our markets, I think it's one of the best. We work really hard to keep it super fresh. If you look at the dates on the bottoms of our cans, you'll see that we do both a canned on date and a best by date. And so you can always hold us accountable on that, and you'll see, I think it's, we're fresher than most out there. And it's just a great, delicious, fresh beer. It kind of balances that line between like a lot of the hazy kind of characteristics in the flavor and aroma, but it's not a big chunky mess. No offense to hazies, but we don't really make any right now. We will though, I promise. A lot of people ask about Chuck Yu, the artist that does all the art on our cans and other aspects of our brand, and we've been working with Chuck since Indeed was born. When we first sat down with Chuck to interview him to do art for us, he showed us like his portfolio, and we were like totally underwhelmed. And because it was like very like corporate oriented stuff. And he's like, well, do you want to see the weird stuff? And we're like, yeah, we want to see the weird stuff. And so then he pulled out like this different folder, and it was all this little creatures, weird apocalyptic scenes. We were just like, holy cow, this is amazing. I think that was a moment that was cool for Chuck and cool for us, because I think Chuck was excited because he maybe realized that, hey, like I can maybe make a living doing art that I actually want to do. And then we were excited too because there was someone who was willing to do work for a company. You know, I mean, we are a for-profit business, and was willing to like lend his art to it. About 2 years ago, we kind of were looking around our brewery and our business and thinking, what could we do to continue to improve, continue to grow, and find new opportunities. And one of them was the desire to have more tap room. But in Minnesota, we can only have one tap room at our primary location. So we thought, well, what if we could have a tap room in a different state? And Wisconsin was the obvious choice. So we wanted to like have an ability to do more piloting in small batches. So building a small pilot brewery in this Milwaukee facility that we opened last September was sort of a way to do that. We can develop beers there, we can test brew things in a smaller scale, and then bring them up. And there's actually a really great example of that, a beer, Pistachio Cream Ale, which is a beer that's really popular right now, that was originally brewed in Milwaukee and then was sort of brought up to Minnesota and then produced in a larger fashion. Since March, when COVID hit, we had a meeting on a Wednesday with the staff, kind of explaining like what was gonna happen next at Indeed. Someone asked, well, are we gonna sell beer to go? And it's like, I guess we will. A team of people here at Indeed had set up here in the Aux, selling crawlers just out the window here. People were still looking for beer, and they wanted to come down and support us as a brewery, and it was awesome. I mean, we were selling so much beer out of this brewery in crowlers that it was almost matching what we were doing just in the tap room, like a regular time before that. Got a lot of great new beers coming out. Existing beers, for example, Pistachio Cream Ale is a beer that people have been really excited about and has been selling out, and we're doing a drop here in September, and then we're doing another drop in November. Those are 4-packs of 16-ounce cans. Those will be the last 2 drops before we transition that beer to a 12-ounce 6-pack. On top of that, we have a new IPA coming out called Taiga, T-A-I-G-A, which is it's like the word for like this boreal forest in I think like northern Canada. That IPA is something we've been working on for like a year and a half or so. It's a bigger bodied IPA, but still like tons of hop character and the quality you come to expect from us in a cool, Chuck View design can. You'll probably be able to still catch our Oktoberfest here. We're probably running out pretty soon. It sells out quickly, even though it's August, September. In Milwaukee, we're also celebrating one of our longtime employees, Patrick Nicholson, has been promoted to head brewer down there. He started out, just working in packaging and has worked his all the way up, and now he's in charge of all the brewing at our pilot facility. Thanks a lot, Dabblers, for joining us here for Dabbler Season 2 and buying the variety pack and drinking Flavor Wave in there. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was up to your standards. Come down to Indeed, either here in Minneapolis or in Milwaukee. Check out our tap rooms. Keep tabs on us. Follow us on social media, of course. We have a great Instagram channel. If you're out in the liquor stores or grocery stores looking for our beer, if it's not there, ask for it. Stay safe, take care of each other, and cheers.
Walk up to Indeed's Crowler window in Northeast Minneapolis or pick up a 6-pack of Flavor Wave at your local liquor store. Next, we're going to feature the work of an artist that's been friends with the Beer Dabbler for years and years. You might recognize his work from our t-shirts or poster designs. It's D.Witt.
All day you climb, and right back down the other side. How far will you go? With no guarantee, you know.
Remember this beauty from season 1? We're auctioning it off at beerdabbler.com and giving the proceeds to charity. More details online.
All right, we're ready for round number 3. Now this is Minnesota and Wisconsin brewery names.
And trivia. you know. So for round number 3, our first question, what Wisconsin brewery named itself after a monstrous tusked creature from J.R.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings novels?
Do you think they run into copyright issues?
Nah.
What Minneapolis brewery's odd-sounding name is Norwegian, a Norwegian word that means, quote, quote, the act of sitting outside on a sunny day enjoying a beer. Aw, that sounds lovely.
We could be doing that pretty
yeah,
soon.
we gotta use that word more often. Use that word in a sentence today.
What Minnetonka-based brewery was founded by a group of outdoor enthusiasts who wanted to encourage their customers to, quote, I was waiting for it.
Yeah, I'm here for
to,
you.
Quote, explore something new.
You ready for this? What Duluth brewery is named after the object its founder used to mix his brewing mash back when he was the head brewer at Minneapolis's Rock Bottom Brewery? All right, review your answers and get ready for the answers after this.
You should think about it. Take a second.
We are ready for some answers. All right.
Hopefully you guys are too.
Yes, this is my favorite part. You get to know who wins. All right, so round number 1, question 1. Name that St. Paul brewery that is named after the longest stretch of Victorian-style homes. That would be Summit Brewing, named after Summit Avenue in St. Paul.
One of my faves.
That's a good one.
Yep.
Number 2, another St. Paul brewery. This one founded by electrical engineers who are doing some soldering. That is Tin Whiskers Brewing. Check that out. And it is on like Robert and 9th.
Yeah.
Robert 9th in downtown St. Paul. Number 3, what Northeast Minneapolis brewery gets its name from the saying that chefs use to remember not to chop their hands off? That was a good reminder. That's Falling Knife Brewing. As in, a falling knife has no handle. In other words, don't try to catch that. No.
I didn't know that, and maybe that's been the problem with my cooking.
Yeah, you could. Yeah. Well. And then number 4 of round number 1, what northern Minnesota brewery took its name from a tree that is known to flourish after a forest fire? That would be Jack Pine Brewing. That's another wonderful brewery. Great tap room up in northern Minnesota. Jack Pine Brewing was the answer to number 4, round 1.
Getting into round number 2 answers. The best cider at the Minnesota State Fair was named after the batch number that they submitted, and that is batch number 12. So number 12 is your answer there for number 1. Number 2, the St. Paul brewery that told its investors that their goal was to shift the craft beer industry into the next gear. That would be Clutch Brewing, one of my favorites as well.
You're an investor.
They did tell me that, I think. I just enjoyed their beers, so I invested.
You weren't worried about the next gear?
No, I didn't know what the next gear was.
Yeah, it was just the next beer.
Here you go. All right, question number 3. Another St. Paul brewery was founded apparently on a hot and stormy night. So appropriately, that is Bad Weather Brewing. Also where I host trivia when it is in better times. So hopefully we'll see you there again eventually. But,
when would that be? Wednesdays?
Wednesdays at 7 o'clock. At some point in the
Whenever.
future, whenever that happens.
When we get to gather again.
Yeah. So that was your answer then for question number 3 of round number 2. And question number 4, the brewery named after something that was built in 1931, and then it was added to the Register of Historic Places in 1989, Liftbridge Brewing. So very appropriately named for that one.
All right, round number 3, final 4 questions of trivia. What Wisconsin brewery named itself after a monstrous tusked creature? That's Oliphant Brewing in Wisconsin.
Can you tell you read kids' books?
Yeah, I know, I gotta animate it. Well, you gotta emphasize it a little. Oliphant. Monstrous tusked creature. All right, number 2, what Minneapolis brewery's odd-sounding name is a Norwegian word that means the act of sitting outside on a sunny day enjoying beer. That's utepils.
Oh, you said that so nicely.
I don't speak Norwegian, but I went to a Norwegian college. So I feel like you just absorb it.
Go Norsk.
Yeah. All right, number 3. What Minnetonka-based brewery was founded by a group of outdoor enthusiasts who wanted to encourage their customers to explore something new? Unmapped Brewing. I bet they all get lost in their beer. Unmapped Brewing. And the final question of trivia. What Duluth brewery is named after this tool that was used to mix the mash? Bent Paddle. Bent Paddle Brewing in Duluth is number 4 of round number 3. All right, did you guys tally up your scores yet? Who's winning? And what do you get when you win?
More beer.
Hope you had a lot of fun hanging out with us. I'm Lindsay.
I'm Tracy.
We're the Kimball sisters.
And we're with Trivia Mafia. We want to thank you for watching us and hanging out with us for this short time we have with you. And we'd hopefully see you again. Go to triviamafia.com to see when we have some virtual events, and then maybe, whenever the time comes, our real life events back at the breweries, the restaurants, bars, all across the Midwest.
Cheers.